All eyes are looking at United Health this week as we have an earnings report coming up in here, July 16th, pre-market, and that Friday's expiration, your monthly July expiration, pricing in right around a $26 expected move between now and then. So we're going to see what happens in here as we start approaching that earnings report. We're going to see if we get a little bit of run up in here. How early is that run going to start? How early is it going to fall off? And then what type of expansion or contraction we get in our IV as we are approaching that overall earnings report. On Friday, we ended the day down almost 2%. We're trading down below that 425 key area. So we were red on the day, but overall green on the week, just barely on this weekly candle in here. You can see we printed a doji in here for the last week. So we're right on this trend line of this overall structure in here. Nice little move in here ever since we had those lows coming back in April. Nice little pump in here. The crossing over of this 9-day EMA and this 50-day SMA, it helped out tremendously. You got a little consolidation here back in May, and then ever since then, just a little pop in here for the past 4 weeks or so. A nice separation overall with our 9-day EMA and our 50. Now, though, we're approaching that 200 SMA. It's currently sitting right here at that 457 mark. So once we get up there, that is going to tell us a lot of things, especially if this earnings report actually does push us into that expected move, which is $26 right now. That's going to push us right up against that. That's going to tell us a lot if we are going to get a bounce off and a rejection of this trend line, or we're going to cut right through it. And then that is going to be our new support. That's kind of what we're looking at in here. All these moving averages are going to start to kind of merge together. You can see how far away we separated were back here with our 9-day EMA. Then once we get that crossover, now everything's kind of sort of coming back in, right? So, but with that though, we have to be aware of our RSI, or I'm sorry, the Bollinger Bands in here, because we do have a lot of expansion in our overall band. So we do need a little bit of consolidation in here, but above the 200 SMA would look way better for some consolidation rather than right here, just sitting on this lower trend line. So going forward, the earnings report is going to tell us a lot, and it's going to give us some big moves in here, and it's going to give us confirmation either way on how to play this. So we could get a huge rejection off of this 200 SMA. We might not even make it up that far. We might just break out of this lower trend line in here and just kind of trickle down and then reject even this overall structure and come back down here to the 200 or even the 9-day EMA and just kind of fizzle out. Or we might get a big pop in here and we might just crush through everything for earnings. I don't know. We will wait and see what happens. It all kind of depends on what comes out, and then kind of what traders feel is good news or not, right? So that is kind of the overall lingering feeling in here. So to the upside, what are going to be our levels in here? Well, we are going to be watching that 438, then we're looking at 453, then obviously that 200 SMA that we just mentioned. To the downside in here, we have that lower trend line. So we do need a little bit of a gap up in here to stay on this trend line in here on the weekly chart. So we're going to need a little bit of gap up. That's going to put us right around that 430 mark. Anything below there, we're looking at the 418, then this 9-day EMA sitting at 402, and then below there, nothing to save us until you get all the way back to the lows that came in May, which is going to be right around that 378 area. So that's kind of what we're looking at in here. Obviously, we're just focusing mainly on earnings. That's why we don't care about RSI. We don't care anything about volume or whatever, to see how it's kind of trickled off in here ever since we had those big down moves. Don't care. We're just worried about what types of run-ups we are going to get, and then we're going to watch the correlation with any just basically any index. Is there any stock? Is there anything in here that UNH is going to correlate with that could give us a hint of what could happen in here, what type of sympathy plays we could get with other tickers that could be related to UNH. So that is kind of how we're going to play this thing. But overall, nice move in here ever since that big lull that we had in here in April. So we are back above the 400s. Let's see if we can continue to stay above here, and let's work our way up to that 200 SMA. Hopefully the earnings report will push us there, but if not, then we're going to play this thing to the downside, breaking out of this overall structure. Let's see what happens in here on a $26 expected move in UNH. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.